Tony D and Little Joan, and this is a screenwriter's rant on Avatar, Fire and Ash. I thought I did this one, but I guess I didn't. Is this Avatar 3? We're up to 3 now. Smash like and subscribe. Thank you for smash liking and subscribing, Joan. Check out my books. The links are in the description. Comedy Horror in South Jersey. It's the Pineys, books 1 through 18, available at Amazon.com. Don't forget, Kindle Unlimited is free. All right, so, look, I gotta say up front that I don't like Avatar. Like, I kind of hate Avatar. Probably not as much as I hate Jurassic Park as a franchise, but it's up there. It's up there. Because I actually like James Cameron's Terminators. Those first two Terminators are boss. I mean, they're badass. This movie, I don't get the attraction at all. I mean, it looks cool. The CGI and the effects are incredible. The story is bunk, in my opinion. Complete malarkey. It's the same story. I know. It's basically cowboys and Indians, but the Indians win. They're space Indians. And yeah. So I don't really dig this at all. It feels like I don't know why he doesn't have a good screenwriter. I really don't. When you spend this kind of money on a movie, I don't understand how you get the same damn sort of melodrama that you could get in just about anything. You know? And The Simpsons already did their parody of this. And they nailed it. That was one of the ones they just nailed, you know? That the Avatarians or the Navi, they just have an animal that you know, if they fight tanks, they have an animal tank. If they fight planes, they have an animal plane, you know, that kind of thing. So this is the same thing. The last one was water. This one's fire, but then the water guys are in it too. So they'll be in the air and there'll be fire, and then the humans are in the mix, and Stephen Lang is still somehow alive. I don't really understand it. I don't care. You know, this is the new baddie, some fire priestess who has decided to make war, and the human son, or half human son, I still don't understand how he could be half human, is captured. So the first act would be, there's the Navi again, they're doing their thing, and the Sully family, which also makes no sense. They are, you know, running around doing their thing after the events of the second movie. And then the new baddie is the fire priestess, who teams up with Stephen Lang, who I assume was defeated but not killed in the last movie. And then they capture the son, the human son, and then, you know, it's going to be a big battle again. Again, here's more robots. And this time, they have to save the son, because he is able to breathe. And it's funny because I'm watching the trailer and I saw him with the mask on. And then later in the trailer, I was thinking to myself, what if he ever broke that mask? Wouldn't he be unable to breathe? He seems to do a lot of crazy stuff. And then sure enough, the whole plot of the movie is somehow he takes off the mask and he can still breathe. And they're really worried about that, because if humans can breathe on the planet, on Pandora, then they can adapt and then, you know, colonize it, I guess. It's a very, I don't know. Again, it's just cowboys and Indians. So the Indians win. Will be the ending, I will guess. Perhaps somebody dies in this one. Maybe the human son dies or sacrifices himself. Screenplay by James Cameron, Rick Jaffa, and Amanda Silver. Directed by James Cameron. Yeah, it just sort of, I've been seeing actual thumbnails for this for a while. but I guess this one dropped 10 hours ago. I mean, visually, it's amazing. I mean, you look at this and you just go, oh my God, that's incredible. But story-wise, I did the same thing on the first movie. The first movie I watched, and I was just like, wow, this looks really great. And then about 20 minutes in, I'm like, is this the story? Like, I think he's got, how many movies? 4? I think he's got one more after this. And they're spending a lot of money. Will it make money? I don't know. I think the other 2 made money. Let's read the write-up if there's one. The world is much deeper than you imagine. Watch the brand new trailer for Avatar Fire and Ash and experience it in theaters December 19th. So it's a good Christmas movie. It's a family movie. Also, don't miss Avatar The Way of the Water back on the big screen. Smart move on October 3rd. James Cameron takes audience back to Pandora, an immersive new adventure with Marine turned Na'vi leader Jake Sully, Na'vi warrior Zoe Zaltana, and Sully family. Yeah. So it sounds more like a ride than a story to me. Let's try the IMDb. There it is. I forgot Zoe Zaltana's the girl. Jake and Neytiri's family grapples with the grief after Netanyam's death. Oh, so somebody died in the previous movie. I don't know. I didn't see it. Encountering a new aggressive Na'vi tribe, the Ash people, who are led by the fiery Varang, as the conflict on Pandora escalates to a new moral focus emerges. Oh, that's strange. It's a weird way to put that. A moral focus. So a new moral focus. Okay. How is Giovanni Ribisi still in this? Didn't his character die? Did they bring him back as a Na'vi too? How did everybody get turned into a Na'vi? It makes no sense to me. Kate Winslet is in it. Edie Falco? Stephen Lang, of course. Stephen Lang getting a lot of work in this realm. Sigourney Weaver, of course. I think she got turned into a Na'vi too, didn't she? Is everybody a Na'vi now? Jermaine Clement's in it? Okay. Guess there's no more humans in it. So, whatever. Forgot I can't show this. Holy crap. YouTube flagged me last time. Yeah, I'm not going to say it. I mean, it's beautiful to look at. But to me, the story is just cowboys and Indians. And now we're past the cowboy part. It's all Indians fighting one another. That's fine, I guess. I guess that's why it's appealing, kind of. It's sort of a weird kind of Western in its own way. But I don't know. I need more than just these sort of visual trinkets. They're very nice to look at, but I get bored very quickly. I'm a writer. I want a story, and I feel like the story here, it just, it would have been great if James Cameron took a series of books with this kind of visual pastiche and brought it to the screen. But, I feel like, especially in the first movie, which really just turned me off of the whole thing, it just was too derivative. This one doesn't feel derivative necessarily. It's kind of derivative of itself at this point. It's just like, I don't care about any of these characters. I don't really understand how some of them are still alive, how they're aliens. And I don't really want to find out because I didn't like the first movie. So I assume that's all explained in the second movie. But it's okay for you to like it, Avatar fans. I just feel like it's built to be another Star Wars, and it just doesn't have, that oomph, that it factor. It's kind of empty in its own weird way. And not for nothing, Sam Worthington, whenever he's the lead, I just don't. 9 times out of 10, I don't feel anything for his character. When he's doing his actual accent, which I believe is I think it's British. Is he British? I think he is. Where is he? There he is. Sam Worthington. Or maybe he's Australian. Yeah, no, he's English. So he did a movie, forget what it was called, but he did it in his real accent. And he was much more authentic. Now, I'm not saying it's the accent necessarily that's throwing him off, but it felt like that movie felt real. This movie feels empty to me, and I kind of can't understand why I can't understand why Giovanni... Can anybody explain to me in the comments why Giovanni Ribisi is still in this? Wasn't he... He was a human. Is he still human? He's got to be a Na'vi, right? Like they somehow transferred their bodies because they were trapped on the planet or something. Same thing with Stephen Lang. Kind of doesn't make any sense to me. I mean, I get it with Sam Worthington. Like, he was, in a wheelchair and this, I thought this was supposed to be the one special leap, like quantum leap into a body, but apparently anybody could do it. Kind of makes it less special. And if the Na'vi are worried about humans adapting to the world, I think they should be more worried about the humans genetically engineering Na'vi and then just abandoning their old bodies and living on the planet as Na'vi. Because they're definitely not going to have any problems breathing the air then, and then they could just do whatever they want, right? In fact, wouldn't that be a better strategy for Stephen Lang? Just go back to Earth and say, hey, you could have this giant cool body that lives for a really long time and you can't break your bones and you live on this cool planet. Like, wouldn't that be very appealing for people back on Earth? I think a lot of people would jump on board with that. And pretty soon you'd be flooding the planet with people who are like, oh, I love being a Na'vi. Yeah, like, I'll abandon my body and just have a big factory where you keep turning out human Na'vi and they just go off into the jungle and annoy everybody. I don't know. Am I off base here? I haven't seen anything since the first movie, so you tell me if I'm off base. But yeah, I'm not gonna see this. Not gonna see this. But you can. You could see it. I guess there's a bit of a fan base. Every once in a while I see a Na'vi costume. Like once in a while. But not a ton of them. Not enough that I would say, I feel like part of it is the characters aren't relatable enough because they're aliens. And I don't mean like in their personalities. I just mean their looks. Like, they've got a lot of humanity in their eyes and whatnot, but ultimately, it makes them unrelatable to the normies. So some of the people who like fantasy and sci-fi and elves, they're on board because they look very lithe and they have a cool look and everything. But I think your average normie can't connect with these like they could with, say, the Star Wars characters. Because the Star Wars characters technically weren't human, I don't think. I mean, I guess they're human beings, but they were from different planets. And, you could kind of relate to them. So, yeah, I feel like, I'm sure it would make a good video game, visually. But in terms of a movie, I just don't feel this. It just feels too empty, a little too contrived. Feels like it needs like a better fantasy writer to come in and like really punch it up. But that's just me, and that's just my opinion, and that's it for me, Tony D, and Little Joan somewhere behind me. Let's see what's coming up for me. Saturday, I'll be at the Mercer County Library. That's inside from 10 to 2 in Lawrence Township, and that's for their book fest. And then on Sunday, barring no rain, may get rained out, 10 to 5 down in the Dragon Shops in Bridgeton. So the weather turned. The reports now don't look great, but I'll have to make the call closer to Sunday. So either way, I'll still be doing the live stream. Hope to see you then. We'll see you tomorrow.